Good afternoon. Welcome to another Bali COVID-19 update for November 12th, 2020. This is my No Name channel, and I'm Bruce. And what are we doing today? Well, I've got a number of things to talk about, but in order to keep this as short as possible, I'm not going to introduce them now like I usually do. I'm going to get right into it. If you want to see what is scheduled, look down below in the description box and you'll see the timestamp and you can go directly there. Okay, so numbers. The numbers are up a little bit yesterday. We've been in the 40 to 60 range recently, and yesterday was 93 new cases. That gives us a total of 12,430 positive cases, with 11,433 recovered, 402 deaths, no new deaths yesterday, thank goodness, and 595 active cases. So we're well below that place we were at a few weeks ago when we were up in the over 1,000. And all new cases are Indonesians, 88 are local transmissions, 6 domestically imported, and 1 from a non-Bali resident of Indonesia. And the numbers, and here's my map, right? I love my map. Denpasar 31, Gianyar 21, Badung 13, Tabanan 11, Buleleng 8, Bangli 5, Karangasem 2, and Klungkung 1. Okay, so a little higher than recent, but we're still below 100. But we've got ways to go before we're out of the woods, so to speak. And well, let's go on to the next part. COVID-19 vaccine for Bali by late December. So in a previous update, I think it's this one, I said the government was planning on vaccinating people in November, but that's been moved until December. The Indonesian government says that a vaccine for COVID-19 could be available by the end of this month, and the coordinator of Maritime and Investment, Pak Luhut, and I've talked about him many times, said that the government wants to see Bali become a green zone by the end of the year, or by the start of next year. And the vaccine that we're talking about is the one that's being developed by Sinovac and Biopharma. And Luhut said that in order to begin the vaccination program, the government will need to ask for emergency use authorization from the Indonesian Food and Drug Surveillance Agency. The vaccines, once they're available, will be distributed to red zones first. That's over in Java, Jakarta. However, Bali is high up on the priority list due to the dependence of our economy and tourism. And Luhut said the government wants to clear Bali of COVID-19 by early 2021. So, what does that say about opening Bali? I don't know. I'll get to that at the end of this vlog. And next up, hundreds of hotels and restaurants passed the 2020 Tourism Grant Fund verification. These are from Buleleng Regency. So as many as 280 hotels and restaurants have met the requirements for the Tourism Grant Funds for hotels and restaurants. And the distribution of these funds is awaiting decree from the Bupati here in Buleleng. The total amount, 9,398,844,000 rupiah, not dollars. Each applicant will receive funds proportional to the amount of taxes that they paid last year. And the amount of the grant is about 29% of the tax payment. So that's pretty good. It's hoped by the government that the grant will act as a stimulus for increasing tourism and reducing staff layoffs. So some money is being distributed to hotels and restaurants here in Bali. That's great because even during the non-COVID era, this is the area that's much less visited. Now, for me personally, since I'm not involved in tourism, that's great. The less tourists up here, the better, as far as I'm concerned. However, people that are in the tourist industry need the work. So, nice to see that there's some money going to players in the tourist industry. Now, big rumor going around the internet for the last 2-3 days. I saw it first on a Facebook page of, I'm not going to say which one, a person who is a player, a foreigner who's a player, who announced that international flights are going to start on the first. That was the first time I saw it. The second time was from another foreigner who has a business in Bali. And then the blowback started. And I didn't report on this because it didn't seem real, and it's not. According to the rumor is that was that international flights to and from Bali would start on December 1st, and that went viral. It was everywhere. It was so everywhere that the governor had to specifically comment on it, and he said that this is only a study. This is only one step in a process, and it's a study. One of the reasons for opening international flights in the next few weeks would be to jumpstart the Bali's economic recovery by improving imports and exports. Many of the small and medium-sized businesses ship their products by international flights, through international flights, and so that's a reason to open up international flights in Bali. But it's not happening now, okay? Bali's regional secretary, Dewa Made Indra, said that the opening is under review by central and regional governments. So nothing's opening up here yet. So chill. Okay, I know that got some people excited. I thought, well, if they're opening international flights, that means people can come here, right? No, it doesn't mean that. And I'll get back to that again at the end. This is cool. Electric buses. Electric bus service was launched in Bali. Provincial government of Bali has launched a new electric bus service last week. And the electric bus service is going to have 12 buses operating around the island. And the initial 5 routes, 4 of them will be from the airport, and 1 is going to be from up here in Singaraja. And these are the routes. Airport, number 1, airport to Central Park Kuta, to Ubung, that's the terminal, the bus terminal. Mengwi, that's the new bus terminal that they moved, the old one from Ubung to Badung, and then to Singaraja. So that's something I could use to take home if I was coming in on an airplane. Next one, number 2, airport to Sanur, to Ubud, to Kintamani, to Singaraja. Okay. That's a nice ride. Number 3, starting in Singaraja, going to Menjangan, okay, to the west here, then to the Taman Nasional Bali Barat, so the West Bali National Park. So you're going over that way. It doesn't say, it says it's going to stop in Menjangan, so I don't know if that means Pemutaran or not. Okay, so that's one up here in the north. Number 4, airport to Goalawa, Padang Bai, Manggis, Amuk, and Ahmed. So you want to go to Ahmed. So they're covering main tourist areas here. This is cool. And the last one, airport to Sanur, to Klungkung, to Basaki. Okay, so this is interesting, and this service is only going to allow embarking and disembarking passengers at fixed points along the route. So at these points, that's where you go. It's not going to drop you off and pick you up along the way. You've got to beat these fixed points. I don't know exactly where the fixed points are. Let's see if I can find some more information about that for the next video. Okay, and the initial operation is only a test. It's a trial, and it's going to be free. The service is going to be free until the end of the year. Pretty cool. And this new electric bus service is part of an ambitious program by the Indonesian government to introduce electric buses, elevated suspension cars, and trams in various locations around the island. The overall Bali transportation network's tram elements will include a 7-kilometer long system in Kuta and a 12-kilometer system in Sanur. So, improving transportation. I remember, transportation used to be so difficult. When I first got here, you had to take a BMO from here to there, or a bus, and then a BMO, and if you had a suitcase, it was a pain. But I kind of miss those days. But I've got a car and a motorcycle, so I don't do that anymore. But it's nice to see transportation's better. Okay, I'd like to try these new buses. See if I run across one, not run into one on the road. Okay, next, local fruit to be used at hotels in Bali. Good news. The Badung Regency and the Badung Regency are working together to market local fruit. Great idea, because farmers growing things but nobody's buying. Well, if you've seen my video about the market, you know that there's lots of stuff available at the market. But farmers who were supplying hotels, that of course has gone down. And so things are ramping up for what they expect to be another tourist season, I guess, the start of the year. More to come soon. So Bali is going to send local fruit to Badung Regency, and that the plan is that will be used as welcome fruit for fruit baskets and things at hotels throughout Badung Regency. And the Bupati of Buling asked the Bupati of Badung to make some binding regulations so that hotels would use local fruit and not import fruit from wherever they were importing fruit from. Didn't say in any of the articles. He noted, the Bupati of Buling noted that the most important things in agriculture, the agricultural industry, are supply and demand. And if demand is properly maintained, then farmers and government just have to manage the existing supply. So get the demand and they will take care of the supply. The Bupati of Badung noted that all districts and cities in Bali have to work together during this pandemic period, and that's especially in using and consuming local products. He further noted that this cooperation is already underway, and all that remains is to formulate some regulations to make it legal. Okay, and next, the Bali workforce during the pandemic. Okay, so everybody knows that we've been hit hard here, but just how hard? Well, according to a study by a graduate student in the economics faculty of Usaha University, there's 5.63% unemployment rate for August of 2020, compared to 1.57 in August 2019. So see a big difference there. In August 2019, Bali had the lowest unemployment rate nationwide, and now is number 18 of 34 in terms of unemployment, 34 provinces in Indonesia. So we've really been hit. Bali's economic sectors suffering the worst impact from the pandemic are accommodation and food and beverage providers. 9.75% of the island's workforce gets their income directly from these two sectors of the tourist economy. And unemployment in these two sectors is 3.51%. Workers from on the good side, workers from the tourist sectors have responded to the economic situation by creating enterprises in other sectors of the island's economy, including agriculture, commerce, and manufacturing. Agriculture has reclaimed its preeminence now in daily life as people have returned home, gone back to the villages to work the land, because there's no reason. And if you see some of these videos that people make of Kuda and Legion at nighttime, you see the empty streets. People have gone home because you can eat there, you can work the land. Others have joined traditional markets for local trading in order to meet the daily necessities of life, and you can see that all over the island. There are more small sellers, people taking their products that they have, extra fruit, extra vegetables, taking them and selling them. Balinese are resilient and creative. They're finding ways to make money. That doesn't mean that people aren't hurting, but they're also not puppets. They have agency. So at the same time, cottage and home industries have sprung up, manufacturing everyday consumables and other merchandise lines. So yeah, people are doing all sorts of different things. My wife has, her shop with her things, and she's added on a few extras since the coronavirus started. And you see that in a lot of the other small businesses around. Across the island, people formerly employed in the tourism section have sought employment in the informal sectors. So informal sectors are sectors where there's no fixed income. Right? Formal sectors, people have a job, they have a salary. And the workforce employed in the informal sector, 56.69%. So that's a lot. 43.31% are formal sector people. Now, if you live here, you know a lot of people doing things like drivers, people that clean pools, gardeners, maids, nannies, you name it. There's lots of different things. Small traders, especially small traders, little wow rooms. Those are all informal sector jobs. And so the formal employment sectors declined by 6.43% over the past 12 months. Unemployment has been higher in the urban areas than the rural areas. That makes sense. The total economy from year to year is down 12.28%. So that's not good news. However, Q3, this past quarter, we actually grew. Economy went up 1.66%. So it doesn't say exactly where that's from, but maybe that's from the domestic tourism that's happened, right? Because domestic tourism happened back in July, and so if that's brought an increase of 1.66%, hey, great. And we just had domestic tourism here. I reported on that in the last one. So good news. Okay, so that's it. Now, just kind of a wrap up here. I've got a link to an article down below. Last week I talked about the woman who got 9 months in in jail for calling calling a woman, what was it, a pig? Well, here's a guy in Java who spent a couple of days in the Huskau because he's complaining about the state of the road in his village. Puts this on social media. This is not, fortunately, some people in some legislators have seen this and said this has got to stop. You can't be using this law to punish people for bringing injustices or for these petty little things. In this case, the road was broken. It hasn't been fixed in a long time. He was complaining about it. Good for him. The local government officials said, oh, we had him picked up because it was for his safety, because the locals were unhappy. Well, in fact, locals, according to this article, locals were supporting him because they want to see things fixed too. So this is just a reminder, be careful what you say on social media if you're in Indonesia. Okay, and if you can see, it is hot, hot, hot here. Rained yesterday, boy, we got this incredible wind here. It just came, I got blown all the way across the balcony, almost blown off. I was trying to pull down the rain tarp, and wind just took me away. But today it's a beautiful, beautiful day. Windy, still can't fly my drone. Okay, and what else? Okay, so this is November 12th, right? Is Bali gonna open up at Christmas time? I don't know. I've said that before, that I think that would be a time that the government would look at, but no word yet. There's that rumor about the December 1st opening of the international airport. No word on when Bali is going to open. People are still coming here on business visas, and so business visas are being issued by the government. I guess that's the way that they're letting people come in to the island to stay here. And so you can get a business visa. Stay here for 6 months. It depends. Well, you have to renew it. But it lasts 6 months. I think then you have to leave and do it all over again. If you're really desperate to get here, I don't know why, but if you're really desperate to get here, I guess that's one way to do it. People are doing it. And so, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The weather is great. It's hot, but today is great. Yesterday was kind of depressing. So I hope you're well. I hope you're following safety protocols, health protocols. If you're in the U.S., take care of yourself. Things look really bad there. And for people interested in voting, I did vote, and I'm not dead. I'm alive. I voted. Okay? Don't believe all these crazy rumors. Don't be a nutto. Okay, that's it. Be kind to someone today, and thanks for visiting. See you next time.